we are landing in Tucson, Arizona on August 4th. That's right, folks. We deliberately left Maine to visit a state that thinks nothing of 110-degree summer temperatures.
Ingrid, didn't we already visit Arizona back in April? Why are we going back again?
Good question, Ethan, but perhaps you should review the big year plans we drew up before asking silly questions. Each year, Arizona goes through a rainy or monsoon season in late July and early August. This causes things to green up, flowers to bloom, and insects to hatch, which draws birds from Mexico and the Great Plains to migrate into Arizona for the feast.
Wow, Ingrid, that's really cool. Thanks for setting me straight.
No problem, Ethan. Welcome to the Week 31 recap of Ethan and Ingrid's 2024 Big Year. As part of Arizona's second spring, Tucson Audubon puts on a birding festival where they drive vans of nerdy birders into remote canyons to find these late summer birds. Having had our fill of navigating rocky washboard roads, violent switchbacks with steep drop-offs, we decided to take advantage of the transportation at the festival. We flew out 4 days early to do a little birding in the places that the festival doesn't go to or that we thought we could manage on our own, and spent the first few nights at an inn in Madera Canyon, a well-known birding spot near the top of the canyon at 5,000 feet. The first evening, we sat out on the patio well after dark, waiting for the song of the Mexican whippoorwill, bird number 622 for the year and a life bird for both of us. While we waited, we were visited by a white-nosed coati, a bizarre animal that looks like a combination of a raccoon, koala, and E.T. A Rivoli's hummingbird, North America's largest and most aggressive hummer, patrolled the trees around the patio, driving all of the other hummingbirds from the inn's feeders. And an acorn woodpecker spent much of the day stashing acorns in the holes he drilled in the siding of the inn. The next morning, we were up at 3 a.m. August birding is pretty much over in Arizona each day by noon, as the temperatures and afternoon rains drive birds and birders to shelter. So we got an early start, as we had a 2-hour drive to Miller Canyon, and we wanted to be there around sunrise. And here we are, driving up Miller Canyon to find a flame-colored tanager, buff-breasted and sulfur-bellied flycatchers, all life birds for the Whitakers. Our next visit was to Ash Canyon Bird Sanctuary. Once a bed and breakfast with lots of bird feeders, the owner, Mary Jo, eventually gave up renting rooms to concentrate on renting chairs to willing birders who enjoyed the wide variety of birds that came to her feeders. When Mary Jo passed away in 2019, the Southeastern Arizona Bird Observatory purchased the property, built additional blinds, and observation platforms. While 223 species of birds have been documented at Ash Canyon, Ethan and I were visiting hoping to see a single bird, the Lucifer's hummingbird, a Mexican bird that occasionally crosses the Rio Grande during the summer. We explained to the Ash Canyon volunteers that we were doing a big year and needed to see a Lucifer's, and they enthusiastically told us exactly which feeder it liked to visit and exactly where to sit. After 90 minutes of watching other species of hummers visit the feeders, a volunteer alerted us to the Lucifer, chowing down near the center of the facility. Ethan took a few quick photos before it flew away, bird number 627 for the year. On Tuesday morning, we decided to do something we haven't done much during the big year: sleep in a bit and then have our coffee leisurely on the patio. The morning before, when we were visiting Miller and Ash Canyons, a good-sized bear had visited the patio, and we were hoping for an encore. Instead, we had something equally cool happen, at least for birders, when an elegant Trogon began calling in the distance. While not particularly rare, the Trogon is generally silent except during the spring, and we were well past spring. Trogons are also passive, sitting quietly in the cover of trees, making them extra difficult to find. Then we heard our elegant Trogon calling again, this time closer. Then again, even closer. Finally, after 10 minutes of waiting, the Trogon appeared at the top of a dead tree on the outskirts of the property. Not a new bird for us this year. We saw one back in April, but a thrill to see anyway. We then packed up and headed to Tucson, where the birding festival is located. But before the festival began, we had a day to chase the white-eared hummingbird in Paradise, Arizona, in the southeastern corner of the state. Another rarity from Mexico, this bird has been coming to the feeders at the George Walker House. The owners of the George Walker Inn were amazing hosts, showing us the ideal spot to see the white-eared hummingbird, describing its habits, where to get the best photos, and even offered us bug spray. Simply amazing people. Unfortunately, no one told the hummingbird about us, and it never showed up. We spent 3¼ hours waiting, hoping, and enjoying the other avian visitors, but our target never arrived. On the 3-hour ride back to Tucson, Ethan and I picked up 2 more first-of-the-year birds, and both lifers, a Bendire's thrasher and a brown-crested flycatcher, bringing our total up to 629. And then, at dinner, we learned that the white-eared hummingbird had returned to the George Walker House around 5:15 in the evening. Maybe we'll try again after the festival.
Thanks for watching this weekly recap of Ethan and Ingrid's 2024 Big Year. Remember to visit our blog at bigyearbirding.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the subscribe button. And if you want more of this silliness, we also have a Facebook and Instagram page. Happy birding!